who joins us, CIO equity with LIC Mutual Funds. Yogesh, good to have you on ET now. Thank you for joining us. Uh, let's understand that why Indian markets today are not reacting to global cues. And if the problem is global and the nervousness is local, why is that we have sell off in names like HUL and Nestle, which have nothing to do with banks, which have nothing to do with leverage? They're cash rich companies and they're going down.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for hosting your meeting now. You're absolutely right. But is the characteristic of market basically. See, market continue to be remain volatile in short term, and you don't know in liquidity crisis there are also good companies also getting a sell off. I can't directly correlate, and I can't comment on individual stocks. But it seems to be some of the things that maybe behave irrationally in short term due to liquidity crisis, and but because so many negative events playing out together, like high inflation, rising interest rates, geopolitical tension, liquidity crisis. So it's very difficult to pinpoint what is the exact reason for which company. But at the same time, we need to see, we should not look on day-to-day basis, because if you see that every second day some companies up and every second day companies down actually. If you see the broader Nifty and stocks always remain in range bound from last few weeks. So it is very difficult to point out.
Uh, when do you think the tide will turn? Do you think it's all about Fed? And depending on the Fed communication, this market will move this way or that way?
Uh, I wish I could predict it that route. But definitely, I already said because a lot of negative events playing out together. But definitely, answering to your question, Indian markets actually is very much attractive right now. Because if you see the FY25 EPS is thousand around 1050 is now Nifty is trading at roughly 16.2 times, and valuations are actually much lower what we seen 2 years back. At a peak of in last 2 years, valuations came down from 29 times to 16.2 times. So definitely higher interest rate, higher inflation, and some of the negative news like what we heard about SUV banks and geopolitical tension like Russia-Ukraine war. So there will be events playing around Nifty and market. At same time, these events also have some time period and overall basically cycles. So as and when we see a clarity on interest rates, more and more clarity on business front, so definitely flows will come, and whenever flows will come, it's followed by market movement on upside actually.
Yogesh, your outlook on the auto sector, given the fact that, a lot of experts as well as the corporate voices have been indicating that issues when it comes to semiconductors, supply chain, etc., have now eased and are behind. Where is it that you're tilting towards within auto?
Yeah, we are also positive on basically auto sector. But see, there will be some models facing semiconductor issues. But considering the waiting period and on new models, we are quite optimistic on selected auto companies. And at the same time, it gives the opportunity to play out because auto sector has not performed in last 5 6 years. So we are positive, and we as of now we are not hearing any negative from like semiconductor except few models in some of the companies.
Let's talk about the sector which you are a part of, the insurance sector. What do you make of the growth in the life insurance space, the entire thing which came from? I'm just purely talking about the sector, it's not LIC. But since you are
Mhm.
associated with LIC, I'm sure understanding of the life insurance sector would be very deep. So, what's happening in the life insurance sector given that there are policy changes, the sector has still not recovered from the COVID lows?
Definitely. See, we are LIC mutual fund. Definitely, I'll answer your question. But as other sectors, due to higher interest rates, insurance sector also seen a slowdown slightly, and because of budget, the optimism is also lower. That I can only say. At the same time, we need to see the long-term story in insurance sector because of the considering the penetration and the population still headroom to grow is very high from here. But in short term, we might see some depressed growth maybe for 2 to 3 quarters.
us markets, what do we have? No recovery. Just going to refresh my screen. Is it no recovery or yeah, no recovery? And what do we have? Metals which are holding on. Nuresh,